Again, I want to do another build video for you guys today. This build actually is something I've been working on for probably a little over a week now, and I pretty much have it all the way finished now how I want this to be. This build actually has real high damage, real high DPS that it can do, and it also has uh, real good hazard protection on there as well too. The main thing I'm using for this though, for the damage, let's go ahead and get into it, is the Liberty. Right now, this one actually is showing at 393,000 for the damage. It also has damage to target out of cover already rolled on there as well too, of course. And one of the great things too about this is that you can gain a stack on each hit up to 30 stacks. And then when you do headshots though, it consumes all of those stacks to repair your shield for 3% per stack. So that right there is real good too on this build because the shield is the main thing that you want to use on this. And what I'm talking about is the full bulwark shield is what you want to use. And as you can see, I've got this on tier 5 as far as my the skill tier as far as the strength of my shield. So it means 100% active regeneration, 333% shield health, and 25% holstered regeneration. Now as you can see, I've got 4 blues on there, and that goes toward being able to make this a tier 5. So if some of you guys didn't know that, you can actually use your blues to actually go toward your tier levels on your shield. Now keep in mind that's just on your shield though, and not other items like your Stinger Hive or your Secret Mines or whatever. It just applies that way on your shield. Now also too, as you can see, I do have the Tactician uh, specialization on here. So that also gives you an automatic skill tier level right there. So that's already one right there, and then plus I got 4 of the blues on there as well too. So I got a blue on the mask for the where the armor's at. I've got the armor on the chest piece, and I've got the armor on the holster, and yeah, I've got the armor on the knee pads as well, and then on the gloves, and then on the backpack is the reds, which would be the weapon damage. So let me just go ahead and go through each one of these items though. Uh, right now I'm using the Baker's Dozen, which basically is the M1A rifle. As you guys know, it recently, well actually today anyways, as of making this video, it did get nerfed. So now it's 230,000 damage. It was higher than that. I think, if I can remember right, when I had this before they did the update, I think it was around 300 damage, 300,000 damage. If I can remember, I might be wrong. But yeah, it definitely was a strong rifle then. It's still going to be okay now. Don't get me wrong; it's not the end of the world, but it is a significant amount of reduction on the damage though. But it does have the perfect lucky shot on there, so that means the magazine capacity is increased by 30%, and missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. Now, if you want to use a replacement for that though, something that you could possibly use too, though, is the Everlasting Gaze. And on that one, it has 215,000 damage. Well, on my build, anyways, obviously each build is going to be different from what the weapons are as far as what your weapon damage is and so forth. But right now, this is what this is on my build, though, that I have. So this one, though, has the perfect perpetuation. So the headshots grant 50% status effect damage and duration to the next status effect that you apply. And the cooldown is 16 seconds. Well, the way I have my build set up, I actually do have a lot of status effect going on with my build as well too, and I'll explain that here in just just a few minutes. My other weapon I have on here is the Black Market AK, and it's the 87,000 damage it has on there. And I got lucky on this one; it has God rolls on everything, so I definitely went ahead and kept this for sure. And it automatically came with Sadist on there as well too, which is a status effect. So that means you deal 20% weapon damage to bleeding enemies. Then after 4 kills, it applies bleed to the next enemy that you hit. Actually, I'm sorry. It looks like I went ahead and rolled that on there. Then it didn't come with that. I went ahead and rolled that on there. But yeah, I wanted to have some status effect going on with this build as well, for sure. And that right there is one of the great ways to do that because of applying that bleed damage to the enemy zone. and it's definitely pretty strong too. I mean, it melts to the guys pretty good. But like I said before, the biggest DPS or biggest damage though about this build though is the Liberty though. And in fact, let me go ahead and show you guys right here. As you can see, one of the shots I already did is 973,000. So in other words, almost 1 million damage that this thing can do just from how I've already got this build set up though. Sometimes obviously it goes less than that, but you see right there 865,000, and then let's try it again here. 368,000, 865 again. Trying to see if I can get that 973 again. Obviously it's not going to be every time when you are shooting. Sometimes, there you go, 973,888. So real close to 1 million damage with this build, how this is set up though. So definitely huge as far as shredding those NPCs. And really, for that matter, you can really use this in the Dark Zone too, for that matter, because especially some of them guys are kind of squishy with their builds. I mean, if you think about it, if you can get some good headshots off, you can probably even take them guys down with one headshot, or if nothing else, 2 headshots at the most, because of how squishy some of those guys are. But anyways, get on back here to what we got on here. So we've got the Gila Guard, so it's got the 5% total armor for 1 piece, 10% health for 2 pieces, and 1% armor regeneration for 3 pieces. As you can see, I've got rolled on there max 170,000 armor on there. It came with hazard protection, which is 8% hazard protection, and I'll get to the hazard thing here in a minute. It already came with 3,933 armor regeneration as well, and I went ahead and put on there 8.5% burn resistance mod as well too. I wanted this to also have some real good hazard protection on this build though. And then this chest piece I have here is the Gila Guard as well too. It has the unbreakable on there, which is great because that way it brings back 95% of your armor each time that your armor breaks. And then I've got some armor on there already that was already on there, 126,000. And then I went ahead and rolled max 10% hazard protection on there as well. And I've got a mod on there right now at 7.7% burn resistance. Now on this holster, I got lucky. It already has some pretty good rolls on there too. So it's got 170,000 max armor on there. It's got max armor regeneration on there. And I went ahead and rolled the 10% hazard protection on this as well too. So as you guys can see, hazard protection is another big thing I've got going on with this build though. Now on the knee pads, I did originally have the Fox's Prayer knee pads on here, which meant it was 15% damage to target out of cover. But of course they nerfed that as well too, so now that's actually down to 8%. So what I did was today I went ahead and used this as a replacement, the Douglas and Harding, because that way it gives you 20% pistol damage anyways. And since the pistol, being the Liberty, is the main thing that I am using on this build anyways, I figured that would be the best thing to go ahead and put on here then as a replacement. So as you can see, I've also got the 170,000 max armor rolled on there as well too. And it came with skill haste and it came with critical hit chance. I would like to change that skill haste to something different, like, you know, maybe some more hazard protection or explosive resistance or something like that. Maybe even bleed resistance for that matter. But, you know, I had to make sure I rolled the armor on there more than anything though. Okay, so the next one, we've got the gloves. And we've got the Seska gloves, which has the 10% critical hit chance. And then with 2-piece, it has a 10% hazard protection. So again, I wanted to make sure I had that 2-piece because that way we can get that extra hazard protection going on with this build. It has the 11.6% weapon damage, so that way it helps to give me some more weapon damage. And then I went ahead and of course rolled the 10% hazard protection on there. And it came with status effects, which is okay because status effects is also what I'm doing with this build too though. And with the backpack, I've got the other piece, which is the Seska piece. And then I've also got the 11.8% weapon damage that came on there. And then again, you can see that I rolled the 10% hazard protection on this as well too. And then went ahead and put in there a 8.4% burn resistance mod on there as well too. Now, this one actually came with creeping death, and that's great because this is one of the main things I like about this build too, how I have this set up, because when you when you apply a status effect, it is also applied to all enemies within 8 meters of your target. Which actually, I think they've changed that because I could have swore that was 5 meters before. I would have to look that up, but I think that was 5 meters before, but now they might have changed that to 8 when they did their updates. So I'll have to look into that. But anyways, regardless, the point is that this is an awesome talent to have, because I've used this so many times, and it is a beautiful thing, because when you throw your hive out there, your stinger hive, it's going to make those guys bleed. But the thing is, when those other guys are also within the same vicinity of those NPCs, in other words, their buddies that's out there with them, they're going to be bleeding as well too. And of course, it happens the same way. Like if you, shoot one of those gas cans that's around, and one of those guys catches on fire, those other guys are going to catch on fire too. Then, and that's a beautiful thing, because instead of those guys shooting at you, they're on fire or they're on bleed or whatever. So they're trying to, get out of that situation. And while they're trying to get out of that situation, you're the one that's going to be firing at them and tearing them up though, big time. So it's definitely a beautiful thing on this building. And of course, like I said, we've got the Stinger Hive going on. This actually has the 1 tier level, because like I said, I have the Tactician on here that gives you that automatic 1 tier level on there. So it has 10% damage, 5% range, and 70% health. Let me go ahead and show you what mods I have on here too. So I've got the 7.9% stem efficiency on here. I've got the 8.2% health on here as well. And I have the 4 extra stinger charges as well too. That's on the Stinger Hive. And then here on the shield, for the mods, I have the 4.7 holster regeneration. I would like to later on get some better mods, but of course that's just a matter of doing some more farming. I do also have the 4.3% shield health on there, and I have the 4.5% active regeneration as well too. So as you can see too though, the cooldown here is 16.8 seconds, so it does come back pretty quick. The health I have on here is 11,608,000. Active regeneration I have on here is the 162,000, and the holster regeneration is 172,000. So definitely a powerful build, and definitely a powerful shield there. But yeah, as you can see, it's huge though. 973,000. In other words, almost 1 million damage that you can do with this. That's of course, obviously, if you're getting those guys in the head. Now, but even if you shoot them in the chest, I mean, it's still doing major damage though. 541,000 right there. So it's it's crazy how much you can shred through those NPCs, especially shred through that armor. And again, too, with your shield up though, they're shooting at you all day long, and because the shield does have some real good health to it, you can pretty much just stand there all day long, taking those shots, and you're tearing those NPCs up at the same time. There's already been lots of times I was in heroic missions, either by myself or in a group from doing the matchmaking, and you can just pretty much run that whole mission just fine though, with hardly any problems at all though. There's been times when, especially doing the matchmaking though, I've had to pretty much carry those guys, and I was able to do it because of using this build I have right here with the shield and everything, and with the hazard protection too on there. On top of that, especially like if you're doing missions like the tanker mission, those flamethrower dudes, especially the regular small guys, you can pretty much sit there all day long and not have to worry about it. Especially with your shield up though, you can pretty much sit there just about all day long and not have to really worry about anything. Now the big dudes, the big heavies with flamethrowers, then yeah, they do a little bit more damage to you, but again, the amount of damage that they do is very small compared to when you don't have no hazard damage though. And the thing is, it's so small to the point where as long as you keep shooting those guys, you're going to take them down long before they would be able to take you down though. So it's definitely a beautiful thing. And especially too, when you are messing around with those big heavies, if you got your shield up, I don't think they're just going to really let me do it here, but when you're going around, you're shooting those guys, they can't really do nothing to you. You keep on going around circles right next to those guys, and they can't really do nothing to you. And you can be shooting your tanks too, for that matter, that's on their sides, and you can destroy those tanks. And then when you do that, they have to come at you with a axe. That's all they have after that is an axe that they have to come after you with. And again, too, you can sit there all day long with your pistol shooting them while they're coming at you with that axe, and the axe does nothing to your shield. I mean, it seriously does nothing at all to your shield. It regenerates so quick that you can sit there again and they can just hit you all day long with that axe, and it's not going to do anything though. Now, obviously, of course, if you're getting shot from behind with this build, then yeah, you're going to still take some damage. Don't get me wrong. As you can see, though, I do still have 1.4 million armor on here, so it's definitely still pretty tanky. But obviously, of course, you can't be having guys shoot you from behind. But again, that's just a matter of paying attention to what you're doing and making sure that you got, keep your guys, your NPCs there in front of you at all times. If you have to still take cover, then go ahead and do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with still taking cover here and there if you need to. And especially if something happens where your shield does happen to go down, then yeah, you can still take your cover like you need to. But otherwise, like I said, as long as you keep those guys in front and you keep on shooting, you're going to tear them up long before they're going to do anything to you, though, with this build, though. So definitely a great build to check out. If you guys don't have anything like it, go ahead and start working on putting something together like this. Obviously, of course, different people like different play styles and different builds. So you can still make this your own. You can put together your own pieces and different combinations to work with to make this your own build, though. But that's pretty much it. Just wanted to show this to you guys and give you guys some real good ideas to work on as far as another great build that you can work with, though. If you guys ever do have any questions or concerns, feel free to let me know in the comments area on this video. Make sure you, of course, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and also the like button as well, too. Also, keep in mind, I do stream on Twitch just about every single night at around 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So feel free to stop by and check that out as well, too, though. But otherwise, thanks for watching the video, and you guys have a great day.